so welcome everybody to the Backyard Project Season 1 inaugural draft. We will be covering rounds 1 through 4 this afternoon. Welcome everybody. Glad to see everybody here. We do not have closed caption this time, Ukraine. I'm afraid you're going to have to go without that. Now, in order to be able to keep this stream to as short of a time frame as possible, we are going to be moving very, very, very quickly. All right? Oh, there is CC. Oh, that must be something I have with OBS then. Well, then you guys can have fun with that. But there are going to officially be 80 players selected over the course of the next hour and 15 minutes. That is how much time we have been allotted to make sure that this will work and not go 3 hours. So we are going to be moving through stuff very, very quickly. I will not be reading chat. My sincerest apologies. Once we get started, I am basically the commissioner. I will be making sure that the next team gets on the clock, figuratively, and then making sure that we get the next pick already assigned. All right? So if you guys are all set and very, 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 very ready to go, let's jump into this, shall we? Again, welcome to the inaugural draft. This is the rounds 1 through 4 for the Backyard Project. If you were not aware of what the Backyard Project is, you're a little bit too late. But for everybody else who has been made aware of what the Backyard Project is, it's a community-run or a little league that we're going to be doing here on the OOTP channel as well as on my personal channel, to be able to demonstrate just how much you guys can customize leagues and have fun with your own custom creations as well as submitted players. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring up the people that are going to be helping me this afternoon. Every single player that gets drafted today is going to be getting a scouting report by one of these people on your screen. So thank you so much to everybody who pitched in and helped with getting these scouting reports done. There was no way on earth I was going to be able to do all of that myself. So thank you to every single one of these individuals on the screen. That was really an amazing job that you guys did. I had to review all of your submissions, all of your audio recordings, and that took me way too long last night. But you guys should be very proud of everything that you guys have accomplished. I'm going to get the thank yous out of the way right now because you guys have a lot of work ahead of you, and we got a lot of players to get drafted. So let's go ahead and talk about the draft order really fast. This is our official draft order for Season 1. All right? We're going to be talking about the Jazz starting off, Ninjas second, and this is going to be the big double duo of who did the Jazz select with the number 1 overall pick. Is it going to be secret weapon Pablo Sanchez, or are we going to see an upset and maybe see Jacob deGrom get selected first overall? Or maybe they'll go out on a limb and they'll pick up someone like an Angela Del Vecchio, or maybe they'll go grab a Keisha Phillips. There's a lot of different people out there to be able to select. Even Corbin Burns is out there, and he's a high quality pitching arm out there. So the way that the draft works, it's a serpentine draft. That means we'll go 1 through 20. So the Coyotes will get the last first round pick, and then we will go 20 back through 1. So the Coyotes will get pick 20 and 21. If that doesn't make sense, ask chat. They'll explain it much more clear than I will. And so, with that being said, the Jazz, with the number 1 overall pick, are on the clock. And with it, the Jolly Jazz will select Jacob deGrom.
Jacob deGrom. Standing 6'4" on the hill, he is one of the most feared starting pitchers in the league, featuring a fastball that can easily reach triple digits and a wipeout slider that will lead to many batters making foolish swings. His stuff control combination is exactly what you want at the top of your rotation. Now, however, he can be a little bit susceptible to the long ball with 56 movement. Expect deGrom to be at or near the top of the strikeout leaderboard at the end of the season.
Huge shocker development here as the Jazz have selected Jacob deGrom in the number 1 spot, which of course we all know what that means. The Ninjas on the clock for pick overall number 2 will be selecting secret weapon Pablo Sanchez.
It might be a little early to say the number 2 pick in the draft is a steal, but the secret weapon Pablo Sanchez standing in at only 5'7" brings nothing but blue to the offensive categories, including a 99 gap rating. Not only can he hit, he can play each position on the field with extreme skill. Pablo Sanchez is your number 2 pick.
And with the number 2 pick out of the way, we will move on to the number 3 pick, which will be to the captains. And this is where it's all gonna go crazy, because nobody else knows who's getting picked past those two. The captains with the number 3 overall pick will go with Angela Delvecchio. Sugar Pop is one of the greatest pitchers the Backyard Project has ever seen. Outside of maybe, say, Jacob deGrom, her name should bring with it much aura and respect. Her movement and stuff is some of the best in the league, and while she won't top the miles per hour guns, she will definitely induce all the ground balls needed to be able to retain an A status at all times. Look for her to be competing with the greatest come the end of the season, and especially in the awards races. Angela Delvecchio goes number 3 overall to the courageous captains. The Goats, with the 4th overall pick in the Backyard Project Season 1 inaugural draft, will be selecting Corbin Burns.
Well, unless your name is Jacob deGrom, then you gotta be feeling good if you're Corbin Burns, because you are probably the best pitcher in this league. With killer stuff, good movement, and above average control, as well as 4 great pitches: a fastball, slider, curveball, and changeup, and a potential for a velocity for 97 miles an hour on the gun. Corbin Burns is easily, in my opinion, one of, if not the best pitchers in this entire draft. The only weakness he has is that he's a little suspect at holding runners, so smart base runners may be able to exploit that. But other than that, this man is easily a contender for a pitcher of the year.
Thank you, Magus, for that report on Burns. Burns will be an upset for many people. I don't know if many people had him going so early in the draft, so we'll see what the analysts say about that pickup right there by the Goats. But they are elated in their corner of the of the draft room right here. The Ducks get the 5th overall pick, and with it, they will be selecting Max Scherzer. The run on pitchers continues.
Max Scherzer. Scherzer has all the makings of a solid rotational piece that is going to lean heavily on the strikeout to get the job done. Featuring 96 stuff and a very solid 5-pitch mix, Scherzer's weaknesses will come in the movement and control department. Only 48 movement will mean he is going to be susceptible to the long ball, and 65 control means while he should be good most of the time, he is going to have outings that are completely derailed by base on balls. Slotting him in as a number 2 or number 3 starter should allow Scherzer to thrive, but be prepared for those bad games.
Snaggle coming in with the fire of a 2nd or 3rd slot for a starting pitcher rotation. Okay, interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what a lot of these analysis say about some of these starters and where they are projected to land. But, only 2 starters on a team, so I guess number 2, but Snaggle coming in with a report that, might make Mad Max a little mad at this point. Armadillos get the next pick in the Backyard Project inaugural draft, and with it, they will be selecting Lindsey Felgate.
Hi, I'm DishNet34. Lindsey Felgate can play pretty much anywhere you'd like her to. She can hit, she can pitch a little, she's pretty much a Jill of all trades. She has a good contact profile with phenomenal speed, as well as good, if somewhat error-prone defense. She's much more suited for the outfield than the infield with her defensive ratings, but she'll be fine anywhere in a team's lineup.
All right, Lindsey Felgate goes 6th overall to the astounding Armadillos. A good two-way player at this point, although I agree with Dishnet. I expect to see her in the outfield at this point. The Whistlers get pick number 7. And with it, they will be selecting Kenny Kawaguchi.
Next up is Kenny the K-Man Kawaguchi. He can hold his own out in left field, but the real reason the Witty Whistlers picked him up here is that he's got 92 control on the mound, pinpoint, accuracy with a great pitch mix of fastball, slider, curveball, and a devastating changeup. Look for Kenny the K-Man Kawaguchi to be a beast on the mound for the Whistlers.
Good pickup right here for the Whistlers. Kenny Kawaguchi, one of the best control pitchers in the league. The Pioneers have the next pick. And with it, the Pioneers will be selecting Marcellus Marks.
That's what Speed Do was coined by Gerard Dyson, but it applies to Marcellus as well. A right-hander with top-tier speed, he takes advantage of this by getting balls in play, making opposing defenses make plays to keep him in check. He also uses his speed to great effect in the field. He has the range to play anywhere on the diamond, but is probably best suited to left field or second base due to an average arm.
All right, Marcellus Marks. Another good outfield potential right here. Pleasant Pioneers are going to pick him up. Good speed as well. Good pickup. The Koalas are going to be our next pick in the first round here. And with it, they will be selecting Grace Tipton.
Amazing Grace Tipton hails from Memphis, Tennessee. This two-way speedster is happy to play almost any position, but please not third base. She finds it boring and loses concentration if stuck there. Her mastery of speed transcends just running. She is a master of pitching control who forces you to play her game. When not starting, she is the ultimate pinch runner and may even be a defensive substitute in left field. She's tough and gritty from the Bluff City. Amazing Grace Tipton.
Another starter going the way of the kind Koalas. That was the 9th overall pick. We'll go on to the 10th, and that's going to be the Cacti. And with the 10th overall pick, the Cacti will be picking up Keisha Phillips. Flash, a.k.a. Keisha Phillips, a mysterious superstar coming through the Backyard Project system. While many do not put her on the same pedestals as Pablo Sanchez and sometimes Angela Del Vecchio, her speed is that to match Pablo Sanchez, and her power and gap power will make her a threat in the batter's box every single at-bat. Her defensive prowess on the outfield and infield will also make her a valuable asset for any organization that wants her. Plus, she also has some sneaky little ability to play some relief pitching, if you'd like her to be able to do that. Look for Keisha to go early in this draft and be a valuable, valuable asset to whoever gets her. Keisha Phillips goes to the Cacti. Good multi-talented player right about there. The Reapers will get draft pick number 11. And with it, they will be selecting Earl Abbott.
If you took Richard Blyer, made him a starter, and stapled on Gerard Dyson, you'd have someone who kind of looks like Earl here. He'll excel as a starter with a strong infield defense behind him, and he can be a fantastic pinch runner. His range plays anywhere on the diamond too, especially in the outfield. Just don't expect him to impress with that noodle bat of his.
I'm going to love some of these reports. Some of them are actually really, really well done. So, yeah, Earl Abbott goes to the Rebellious Reapers as 11th overall. 12th is going to be the Squirrels. And with the 12th overall pick, the Squirrels will be selecting Fernando Tatis Jr.
Tatis is leading the way as a new kind of power bat at a premium defensive position. He can slug just about anything you throw at him, his base running is great, and he's a very capable infielder. He'll frustrate you with strikeouts when he's in a slump, but he's the best in the game at shortstop offensively. Enough said.
Enough said indeed. I think Tatis is going to be a great pickup here for the Squirrels. Good shortstop ability, going to be a good power bat for them. And this late into the first round, that's a good pickup. I would take that any day. The Admirals get the next first round pick, and with it, they will be selecting Mikey Thomas.
After spending 2 years searching the streets of North Carolina for a left-handed catcher's glove, Mikey Thomas, the Nugget, has landed here with the Angry Admirals with the 13th overall pick. A lefty catcher with a cannon, featuring 100 catcher arm rating and 102 power off the charts. Look for Mikey Thomas to do big things for the Admirals and also maybe come in for a little bullpen action.
Mikey Thomas goes 13th overall to the Angry Admirals. Congratulations to them. The Apollos are up next, 14th overall pick. And yes, please do talk in chat about who you believe the first submitted player will be drafted and where in the draft they will be drafted. I can give you guys a hint. We do have a few drafted in the first 4 rounds. So you guys can talk about that between yourselves. Apollo's up next, and with it, they will be selecting Pete Wheeler. Wheelie Pete Wheeler is the fastest player in the Backyard Project, topping out at 124 ratings on his running speed, stealing bases, and base running. This batter is going to terrorize catchers all year long. His ability to get on base is about average, so look for him to be able to put down bunts for hits on top of his singles and doubles. His eye and avoid K will get him on base, and his wheels will do the rest. His ability to play the outfield is the most elite in the Backyard Project. He can play any of the outfield positions and play them at the top of their game. Look for Pete Wheeler to be an amazing center fielder, reminiscent of the Torrey Hunter outfield with Ichiro speed and contact. Good pickup right here for the Apollos of Pete Wheeler joining their outfield squad. He can probably also play catch or first base if you need him to as well. So options for them. The Kings are up next as we come closer and closer to the end of the first round here. And the Kings will be selecting Zenon Estrada.
Hi, I'm DishNet34. Zenon Estrada is one of the better catchers in this draft, but can play almost everywhere if need be. He comes with good contact, decent power, and can play all infield positions and the corner outfield with decent speed as well. Z-Zone should be a good addition to a BYP team's roster.
Zenon Estrada, good catching person right here. Interesting to see the Knockout Kings going for the more average batting but higher defensive person right here. It'll be interesting to see what their second, third, and fourth rounds are going to look like moving forward. The Giants, next team up here in the first round. No, Dishnet is Dishnet. Juan Soto goes 16th overall to the Graceful Giants.
Juan Soto. Soto presents one of the most interesting hitter profiles in the league. While he has some average to above average contact, power, and avoid Ks, where he really shines is his 100 eye. Drawing additional pitches from starters, helping get into the bullpen sooner, drawing additional base on balls. Soto may end up being a 270 to 280 hitter, but you can expect his on-base percentage to be at or north of 400. He does need some improvement in the outfield with 55 range, 51 air, and 52 arm. But again, a hitter with this rare of an eye level definitely has to find some at-bats in your everyday lineup.
Oh, everyday lineup's going to be easy for Juan Soto. Probably cleanup for the Graceful Giants at this point as they select the outfielder, most likely going to be playing left field for them. The Cluckers are on the clock next. And with their pick, the Cluckers will be selecting Ronald Acuna Jr., a counterpart for Juan Soto, pretty much.
Acuna is exactly who you want in your outfield in a hitter's park. Rangy enough to play all three positions, gobs of home run power, and plenty fast on the base paths to make opposing pitchers sweat. The only knock against him is a tendency to strike out quite a lot, but the rest of the profile makes up for it. Don't think twice. Get him.
I agree, get him at this point. And the Cluckers have, as the 17th overall pick, Ronald Acuna has been drafted. 3 more picks until we finish the first round, ladies and gentlemen, and then we'll be moving on to the second round right after that. The Nobles get pick number 18. I am going to wait for the boos to come into chat. And there they are. Thank you, guys. With the 18th pick, they pick Bryce Harper. How perfect is that?
Bryce Harper. They call him Bam Bam. And he's got the power to back it up. Perennial MVP at the plate, plays a mean right field, and is actually pretty good at stealing bases. He's got the big bat, the big stick, big eye. You hit him to the gap as well. Decent contact. A little iffy on the avoid Ks, but if he can avoid the strikeouts, then good old Bam Bam is going to have a shot at most valuable player honors.
And it will be interesting to see just how good of a season Bryce Harper has. And the Nobles, yes, a perfect pick here for a player that is divided amongst many fans in real life. You either love Bryce Harper or you just don't at all. With the 19th overall pick, the Frogs are up next, and they will be on the clock. And with the 19th overall pick, the Frogs will be selecting Chico Pappas.
If Marcellus Marks is Gerard Dyson, Pop-Tart is Jose Altuve. A speedster with a bit more pop in the bat, Pappas will be a solid top of the order or middle of the order bat who plays solid defense in all three outfield positions. He's prone to take some bad routes and doesn't have the surest glove, but he makes up for it with his excellent range. And if 2/3 of the world is covered by water, the rest is covered by Pop-Tart.
Sorry, that always gets me. I'm sorry, it does. Anywho, Chico Pappas goes to the Frogs. And the last pick in the first round is going to be going to the Coyotes. And again, they will get pick number 20 and pick number 21. So we will bounce back with another Coyotes pick right after this one. So with the 20th overall pick, the Coyotes will be selecting Maya Woodruff.
Maya Woodruff hails from Broward County, Florida. Primarily a catcher with a firearm, she's happy to field throws at first base as well. She enjoys playing so much that she hasn't made her mind up on a specialization. She is good at many things, but her poor range limits her appeal outside of a catcher or first base. A manifestation of the city of Plantation. Maya Woodruff.
And the Curious Coyotes will also be getting, of course, the first pick in round 2. So let's go ahead and move on over to that one. Second round, first pick. And the Coyotes will be selecting Fred Benson.
Fred may be one of the best all-around outfielders in the league. Rangy enough to handle any outfield position, balanced batting with plus contact and tenacity, and can burn up the base paths. He can even fill in at first if you need a defensive substitution there. He's a true five-tool player, as long as he doesn't get shifted on too frequently.
I love the reference about how he can get shifted on, because that extreme pull ground ball tendency is going to be a problem for him. But Fred Benson goes to the Coyotes as we begin the second round. The Frogs are up next, and with it, they will be selecting Ashley Weber.
Deep in the second round, the Friendly Frogs have selected pitcher Little Smoky Ashley Weber, the 6-foot righty out of Bangor, Maine. She has 78 stamina, so she's going to be used as a starting pitcher, and a nice pitch mix with a fastball slider, knee-buckling curveball, and a nice little change of pace. She can also play every position on the field, including catcher. Great pickup here by the Frogs.
And the Frogs will be picking up another starter. I believe this is their second, unless chat can remind me about somebody else that was not a starter that was theirs. But as we march into the second round, it will be interesting to see who picks a second starter, or if people start to go with different positions at this point. The Nobles are on the clock next, and with it, they will be selecting Ahmed Khan. When not playing in his band, Ahmed Khan likes to hit home runs. And by homers, I mean a lot of home runs. He has an 82 power ability that's going to be a massive improvement for many people looking for a clutch cleanup hitter. His ability to play solid positions across the infield and a couple of outfield positions will also make him a prized possession for many organizations. Look for him to be used either behind the dish or at third base, as his 51 ability at third will make him a pivotal player for any organization. His contact is decent and will allow him to be able to hit for average on top of his elite power, and his running game is nothing to scoff about, allowing him to be able to sneak some steals in there occasionally. Another good pickup here for the Nice Nobles, as this is a good slugger option for them at this point, a good person to put either behind or in front of Bryce Harper. Moving on, the Cluckers get the next second round pick at this point. Yes, the Nice Nobles, with apostrophes around the nice part. They might be not being so nice this year. We'll see about that. Cluckers will be selecting Jay Green.
Hi, I'm DishNet34. Jay Green may be listed as a starting pitcher, but make no mistake, he is one of the best hitters in this draft pool. He comes with a solid batting profile with 92 contact and 85 avoid Ks, plus phenomenal run speed. He also comes with great defense, especially with 88 catcher ability and outfield-infield range. He can also pitch a little, with decent stuff, movement, and control. All in all, he is one of the best multi-positional players a team can have on their roster.
Jay Green falls all the way to the second round. That might have been because he was slotted in as a starting pitcher, but at this point, he is one of the best starting pitchers left on the draft. I'm going to be curious to know if teams would have taken him sooner, if he had been a hitter, but at the same time, pitchers are so pivotal right now that the Cluckers are going to take him here in the second round, and we'll see what that means for the rest of the league at this point. Moving on to the Giants with their second round pick, they will be picking up Leah Wayne, the counterpart to Jay Green.
Lady has an impressive tool belt for a rookie. She can play anywhere on the diamond, including pitcher. Wayne sprays the ball to all fields with ease, with both gap-to-gap power and the ability to hit 10-plus home runs a year. She also isn't easily fooled by pitches and draws her fair share of walks. Once on the base paths, she's nearly impossible to keep in place. She pairs all of this with solid defense anywhere on the diamond, using speed and sure hands to pull down anything within sniffing range. With an arm that pumps out 95 to 97 on the mound, she can also stick at third base as well. On the mound, Leah has a 4-pitch mix with a wipeout slider. Her curveball and fastball make solid offerings as well, and a fringy changeup makes her a borderline starter. She is a little home run prone and doesn't have the best control, but won't kill herself with walks either. Overall, drafting her gives a team the versatility to go any direction they want throughout the draft.
A good pickup by the Graceful Giants. Both of these back-to-back steals, absolute steals in the second round, and this is the 25th overall pick, so 26th overall pick. The Kings up next, and with it, they will be selecting Benjamin Abenducht.
Hi, I'm DishNet34. One of the best created pitchers in previous backyard projects returns this season with some solid pitching attributes. Benjamin Abenducht is a ground ball guy with not a lot of velocity, but some decent movement and control numbers, 64 and 65 respectively. He has a sinker, curve, and knuckleball, a solid pitching repertoire. After being an ace in previous versions, Ben is a solid number 2 or number 3 in a BYP rotation this year.
Benjamin Abenducht, the very first submitted player selected. It seems like this happens every single year. I'm not entirely sure why, but this is all AI selections, guys. I'm not pulling any strings to make this happen. So Schnee, also known as Benjamin Abenducht, returns to his prime position as one of the best submitted starters. I know there are quite a few people who are going to be trying to upset him over the course of the regular season, so we will see how that goes. But the Knockout Kings get their potential ace for the regular season. The Apollos up next, and the Apollos will be selecting Stan Olafson.
Stan Olafson hails from Santa Ana, California. While a gifted athlete that can perform in most positional roles, his extensive baseball card collecting hobby keeps him from reaching the next level of greatness. Best as a catcher, he will also impress in left field and even first base despite his right-handedness. He has a good bat, good defense, good speed. He just needs to get out there more. Santa Ana born, we must warn them about this Californian, Stan Olafson.
A good pick right there for the adorable Apollos as they will try to take flight with Stan and his hitting and fielding abilities. The Admirals are on the clock next. And with the Admirals' second round pick, they will be selecting Bully McGuire.
Hi, I'm DishNet34. If you're looking for a solid starting pitcher, look no further than Bully McGuire. McGuire has one of the better movement and control ratings among starters. He has much better splits against righties than lefties, with a gulf of double digits between his versus righty stuff and movement and his versus lefty stuff and movement, which could be a big factor in how he performs. He has a good curve, a decent sinker, and a good knuckleball as well. Overall, if you can get past the awkward splits, you'll have a solid mid-rotation option for your rotation.
Bully McGuire is the second created player to advance into the draft and be drafted. This is the main competition to Benjamin Abenducht. There are quite a couple other ones as well, and I expect those to be coming up very, very soon at this point. But the Angry Admirals will pick up Spidey to be one of their starting pitchers for the regular season. The Squirrels are up next. And the Squirrels will be selecting Lena. I can never say her name correctly. I'll just let the announcer say it anyways.
Trust me, you wish you could throw like this girl. Lena's got an absolute cannon of a left arm behind the plate, and can even put it to good use from either corner outfield position. She's got some pop in that bat, and her running is above league average too. Opposing runners are gonna hate her.
Lena Inge is her official pronunciation. I just blanked when I was first starting this conversation. But yes, she gets drafted by the Super Squirrels. Great catcher, first base, potential corner outfielder option here for the Squirrels. Up next is going to be the Reapers. I know, even the announcer still avoids her last name too. But that's okay. It is Inge. It's Inge. So the Reapers, with their second round pick, will be selecting Veronica Lee.
Hi, I'm DishNet34. If you're looking for a solid all-around hitter, Veronica Lee is your girl. She has virtually no split advantage to speak of, making her a good fit against both lefties and righties. She also comes with pretty decent defense, with 79 range in the infield and outfield, with decent error and arm. She is also a menace on the base paths, with solid speed, base running, and stealing skills. A solid mid-lineup bat, no team would be unhappy to have Veronica Lee.
Great pickup right here for the Rebellious Reapers. Another good, steady outfield and infield and even catching prospect at this point. The Cacti are up next. I'm sorry, Dishnet. I should have edited out the beginning intros of all of your clips, but I just thought it would be pretty good for a lot of it. You know, I'm surprised no one else did introductions like that. So my apologies about that if that's not good. The Cacti are up next in the second round here, and with it, they will be selecting Trent Sizemore.
Sizemore brings a balanced approach to any team that takes a chance on him. Primarily a catcher, he also has experience at the corner positions and some time at second as well. His plate approach doesn't sell out for contact or power, and the righty will be a solid contributor for any lineup. There's little doubt that he can stick behind the plate, but he can also provide solid defense in the corners as well. With quality framing and a solid arm, he will definitely help slow down the steal game, which he's familiar with as well, as he's a much better base runner than most backstops.
Trent Sizemore goes to the Clobbering Cacti here in the 31st overall pick of round 2. And with the 32nd overall pick, the Koalas are up next. And with it, they will be selecting Salvador Perez. Catchers are going early today.
Salvador Perez. Perez is your prototypical captain behind the plate. Featuring 75 catcher ability and 73 arm, he should consistently be in the Gold Glove conversation across the league. At the plate, he gives you a ton of power, featuring 86 power overall, including 100 power against lefties. His 55 contact leaves a little bit something to be desired, and his 38 avoid Ks means he's going to be very risk-reward. But you have to take the good with the bad. When he's on a cold streak with the bat, you'll still be glad to have that exceptional defense behind the plate.
Good report there from Snaggle J. Going to be able to pretty obviously explain exactly what you're going to be expecting from Salvador Perez. Good pickup here for the Koalas. He'll help out their pitching staff as well as give them some slugging ability, most likely either in the 4 hole of the lineup or potentially in the 5 slot. Moving on, the Pioneers have the next overall pick here in the second round, and with it, they will be selecting Vlad Guerrero Jr.
The instant Vladito stopped hitting everything 110 miles an hour directly into the dirt, he unlocked some serious power to go with his top-notch contact skills. He's not particularly suited to defensive duties aside from first, and he could stand to be more opportunistic with his feet, but Guerrero is likely the best pure hitter in the game right now.
Great pickup right here for the Pleasant Pioneers with a very good power contact hitter with the ability to play a little bit of first base, play first base and a little bit of third base here for Vlad Guerrero Jr. Good pickup. The Whistlers are on the clock next here in the second round, and with their selection, they will be picking up Matt Olson.
Matt Olson is your prototypical first baseman with a lot of pop, a good eye, and good gap power, not much else. He's not going to hit for big average, but he's He's going to play a very reliable defensive first base, and he's going to hit a whole bunch of home runs. You're going to love the way his power numbers look as far as home runs, RBIs, slugging percentage. This man has it all as far as power bats go. Get him in the middle of the lineup. He will not let you down in any way whatsoever.
It's going to be interesting to see how these reports start to go more and more into the they're okay range by about the third and fourth round. So be prepared to see a bunch of they're okay. The Armadillos get the next second round pick at this point, and they will be selecting Chris Jimenez, LFGM.
LFGM is a switch-hitting infielder who makes solid contact from both sides of the plate and squares the ball up well enough to hit home runs to all fields. He has less swing and miss to his profile than some of his classmates and can play all positions on the dirt. Once on the base paths, he's not a burner, but does look better once he's underway. A solid pickup for any team that needs to fill out its infield.
Our first submitted hitter has been selected here in the second round, overall 35th. Not a bad spot for Chris Jimenez to be selected. The contact home run power avoid K highlighted player will be very cool to be able to see how this goes. Next up, 36th overall pick goes to the Ducks. And the Ducks will be selecting Stephanie Morgan.
Slick fielding shortstop Stephanie Bubbles Morgan, taken here with the 36th pick of the second round. She's got unbelievable defense at second, third, and short. Offensively, she is no slouch either. Pete, what does she do? She gets on base. That's right, she gets on base. And if you need, she can drop down a little bunt and maybe give you a couple innings of relief too. Stephanie Morgan to the dominating Ducks.
The Ducks pick up one of the best shortstop prospects in the draft in Stephanie Morgan. She will easily be one of the best shortstops and potential Gold Glovers over the course of the regular season. The Ducks get Morgan. The Goats get the next pickup here in the second round as we are closing in on the third round at this point, almost the halfway mark. And we're making good time for it too. Thank you guys for being here and everything. The Goats. The Goats will be picking up in their second round pick, Amanda Hellbringer Hellerman.
Amanda Hellerman hails from Hell Monte, California. While capable of being a two-way player, you want her to focus on throwing the ball very, very hard. Reaching speeds of over 100 miles per hour, her fastball intimidates even the most stoic batters. Even more amazingly, her slider is even better than her fastball. A few batters have actually swung twice when she switched to her changeup. While her output requires her to be a relief pitcher, she still manages to hold on longer than others in the role. This brawny arm from the El Monte farm, Amanda Hellerman.
The Goats have selected the very first relief pitcher in the draft. Second round, overall 37th, Amanda Hellerman goes to the gnarly Goats. And the Goats are not a reference to Tom Brady. They are a reference to Michael Jordan. I'm just kidding. There's no reference to them. The Captains, with their second round pick, are on the clock next. And the Captains will be selecting El Capitan Buster Posey. Seems quite appropriate.
Buster Posey. Posey sits at the head of the class as one of the best catchers in the league. Featuring 83 catcher's ability and 69 arm, he should be exceptional defensively and also has some versatility as you can stick him at first base. As far as his hitting profile goes, it's very average, including a very large split boost against lefties, featuring 80 contact and 76 power against left-handed pitching.
Great report there from Snaggle J. That's definitely going to be what you're looking for from Buster. He's going to mask the lefties. He'll do okay against the righties, but it's his catching ability that you're going to love from this captain on the Captains. The Courageous Captains pick Buster Posey, 38th overall. The Ninjas with a 39th pick. Our penultimate round 2 selection is going to be Sydney Weber. Sydney Weber, much like her twin Ashley, is referred to as Little Smoky by the league. Her ability to be a very average hitter and defender won't exactly flash many scoreboards and scouting reports. However, her pitching is where she's going to shine. Her 72 overall control is one of the best in the league, her stamina is elite, and her ability to hold runners will make sure that her ground ball profile pitching ability will induce many double plays over the course of the regular season. Look for Sydney Weber to be an amazingly good ace, surprising a lot of scouts out there at this point. Her curveball, changeup, and slider are going to make her a very good pitcher. Sydney Weber goes to the Nimble Ninjas here in the 39th overall pick as we close out round 2. The Jolly Jazz will get their second selection finally. And the Jazz, with their 40th overall pick, will select Byron Buxton.
Buxton's an odd duck. The bat is very feast or famine, as he can't take walks enough to be a real 3 true outcomes player. But if he gets on base, he'll be an absolute menace. And that's excluding his Gold Glove caliber fielding in center. Just keep him in bubble wrap when he's not playing, okay? Bit of a glass jaw.
Will do, Swiggy. We'll keep him in the bubble wrap. I'm gonna have to go buy some. Let me see. Amazon app on the phone. Got it. Okay, good. Got it. All right, the Jazz will be selecting first in the 3rd round as we serpentine back around. So with the 41st overall pick, the Jazz, on top of their last outfield selection, will be picking up Jocinda Smith.
Jocinda Smith, coming out of Houston, Texas, drafted here in the 3rd round by the Jolly Jazz. At 6'5", she's listed as a catcher, but might find herself playing a lot of first base with that frame, and 95 infield error rating. Seems like that's a spot that they're going to end up playing her at. Great pick here by the Jolly Jazz.
One of the best first basemen in the draft for defensive ability, Jocinda Smith, in her 6'5" frame. Is going to be a masterful first baseman over there, being able to pick up everything that's thrown her way. This will be a great pickup for people who have not so good infielders or really have great infielders and want to be able to utilize their infield defense and prowess. So we'll see what Jocinda Smith can bring to the Jazz on top of her defense, with the offense in that contact and eye is great. So good pickup right here for the Jolly Jazz. The Ninjas, with their first 3rd round selection, their only 3rd round selection actually, will be picking up Samuel Middleton.
The definition of jack of all trades, Sam can do a little bit of everything well. His bat is balanced, his running is league average, and he can even pitch some low leverage innings in a pinch. Where Sam is going to succeed most is behind the plate, where his framing skills will make him every pitcher's best friend.
Samuel Middleton, a good first base catcher combination right about here. Also someone who might be slotted at first base if they don't get somebody else to play that position for them. The Ninjas pick up Samuel Middleton. The Captains get their first 3rd round pick, their only 3rd round pick as well. And with this, I think this is the 43rd overall pick, I believe. 43rd, 44th? They will be selecting Aaron Judge.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Aaron Judge presiding. This man is a monster at the plate. A literal one-man murderer's row. Good contact, great power, even better eye against lefties. He's gonna walk a fair bit. He's gonna play a good defensive right field. He's gonna strike out a lot more often than you'd like, but the power numbers, the slugging, the RBIs, that's all gonna make up for it. Again, another guy to get in the middle of your lineup, because you can only hope to contain him.
Aaron Judge goes to the Courageous Captains. My apologies about the motorcycle in the background. Somebody was really happy that Judge goes to the Captains. Like, yes, another El Capitan kind of caliber player. And yes, I do need to change the major service. I don't know why they're saying 50 years. That's just unfortunate what happens. But Aaron Judge goes to the Courageous Captains with their 43rd overall pick. With the 44th overall pick, the Goats are on the clock next. And with it, they will be selecting Dante Robinson. If it wasn't for a backyard player named Pete Wheeler, Dante Stretch Robinson would be the fastest player in the Backyard Project. His elite 99 overall running speed, stealing bases, and base running puts him right up there with the best of the best. And his contact, gap power, eye, and avoid Ks makes him an elite on-base percentage hitter, allowing him to be able to get on base and terrorize catchers across the league, reminiscent of Pete Wheeler. Much like Pete, he also has amazing outfield ability, but because he is a right-handed throwing person, he will be able to play second base, third base, and shortstop, making him an elite infielder to boot on top of his amazing speed and contact ability. Dante Robinson goes to the Gnarly Goats. Another great pickup right there for them. The ability to play the infield and outfield is going to make him very, very special, and that speed is going to make him very, very dangerous on the base paths. The Goats pick him with their 44th overall selection. 45th overall selection goes to the Ducks, and with it they will be selecting Rafael Devers.
Rafael Devers. Devers is going to have some work to do to get his name into the upper echelon of third basemen across the league. Featuring some decent power at the plate with 67 versus lefty and 77 versus righty, there are some concerns about his contact and his strikeout numbers that may force him lower down the order, costing himself valuable RBI opportunities. In the field, you have good, but not great, with 61 range, 53 air, and 70 arm. Devers is going to give you as much as he's willing to give, and you're just going to have to be okay with that. While there is some potential here, only time will tell if Devers will be able to realize it.
The Ducks get a good pickup here in Rafael Devers. He'll be an interesting middle-of-the-order bat for them. I don't remember who they had in the second and first rounds, but this should be a great pickup for them. He'll be able to slot into a position at third base that is very, very hard to find good people for third base right now. So a good pickup right here for the Ducks. The Armadillos are up next on the clock, and with their third-round selection, they will be picking up Trevor Rogers. Oh, you guys are going to love this scouting report.
Rogers seems like your run-of-the-mill lefty at first glance, but there's some hidden value there. Yes, his splits favor same-handed matchups, and his control leaves a little bit to be desired, but his 4-pitch mix is all above average, and he can be a decent starter with that stamina. That said, I think he'll do better as a stopper or a follower out of the bullpen.
Woo! Woo! Follower or a stopper? We're going to have to see if the astounding Armadillos want to do something like that. But Trevor Rogers, left-handed throwing starting pitcher, goes to the Armadillos here at the 46th overall pick in the Backyard Project inaugural draft. The Whistlers are up next, and with their third-round selection, they will be picking up Krangus McBasketball.
Krangus McBasketball hails from Avondale, Arizona. Primarily found at the local YMCA playing 3-on-3, he does enjoy swinging the bat. And he does swing that bat. He never saw a pitch he didn't think he could smash. He can play the infield, but you'll want him at first base. He moves well on the court, but not as well on the field. His main interest is swinging at every pitch thrown at him until it's time to go home, eat some chicken nuggies, and play NBA Jam or maybe work on his layup. The taller baller from the great Copper State. Krangus McBasketball.
You gotta love these reports. You gotta love the reports. I love the Nuggies reference. I think that's perfect for him. But anywho, Baller goes 47th overall to the Witty Whistlers, who will be enjoying his ability to play first and potentially second over the course of the regular season. Next up is going to be the Pioneers, and with their third round selection, they will be picking Maria Luna.
The Pleasant Pioneers pick a pitcher named Pinky with a potent pickoff move here in the third round. The 5'6" lefty features a combination fastball, slider, curveball, and change. She's got some good gap and contact numbers as well as a pretty decent eye. Look for her to be on the mound as well as spending a little bit of time in the corner outfield positions. Maria Luna is your pick by the Pleasant Pioneers.
A great left player right here, Maria Luna. Left-handed starting pitcher, much reminiscent of Trevor Rogers to an extent as well, but she's going to be a fun one. And no, I'm not going to try saying that 5 times fast. Thank you, TJ, for that tongue twister. The Koalas and their third round selection are up next. And with it, they will be selecting Nelson Bighetti.
I'm not sure if Big Head is in reference to his cap size or his owl-sized eyeballs. He's got umpires checking with him if pitches are balls or strikes. That patience at the plate will be his strongest asset, drawing comparisons to Joey Votto. Nelson's fielding isn't exceptional, but he can hang at second base well enough to keep that bat in the lineup.
I love that reference. I love the ability that our scouting report players were able to do to be able to find stuff like that amazing eye and then cross-reference it with the profile picture. That was great. Yes, the amazing eye here from Nelson's going to be one of his best assets as a good hitter. He'll be able to play first and second base quite nicely, and the Koalas get a good pick here with their 49th overall selection, Nelson Bigetti. The Cacti are on the clock next. This is the 50th overall pick. We're well past the halfway mark at this point, folks, and the Cacti will be selecting Tim Gross.
The Exterminator, Tim Gross, 6'4", 230 pounds. He's a ground baller by trade with the great movement on his pitches. Those 3 pitches. Doesn't get much on the fastball. Only 91 miles an hour is his peak, but on the slider and curveball, those are thrown pretty good. I've seen this guy throw, and it's very impressive how he can keep big hitters in check with those breaking pitches. The control's a little bit of a worry, but other than that, I think Tim Gross has a great future here in the backyard.
Tim Gross goes to the Clobbering Cacti. And I believe, yes, I'm about to say, Tim, you were on the Cacti last year. So Tim Gross gets picked by his former club once again. They liked him last year. Let's see if they like him again this year. I think that movement's going to be very, very nice. I also remember, I think Tim Gross has the highest ground ball percentage out of all of the submitted pitchers that we had in the league. The Reapers are up next as we get closer and closer to the end of the 3rd round here, and with their 3rd round selection, they pick Cedric Mullins, who looks great in that uniform.
Cedric Mullins, your prototypical center fielder with great range, decent error prevention, and a bit of a noodle arm, but that's okay. He makes up for it with a pretty decent bat. He's not going to strike out as much as you think, and while he's not going to draw a whole bunch of walks, he is going to get on base and cause some havoc for the pitcher. He can also bunt a little bit. Look at that bunt. Overall, Cedric Mullins is the real deal, and I expect him to have a great season coming up.
Cedric Mullins goes to the Rebellious Reapers with the 51st overall selection. The Squirrels, with the 52nd overall selection, will be picking up Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani. If you're looking for interesting profiles, well, we've got Shohei Ohtani here for you. A true two-way player, but not without his faults. On the hill, you have a stuff first pitcher. 82 stuff, 48 movement, 40 control. He's going to be a risk on the hill. He will give up home runs. He will also walk a lot of players, but there is room there to develop, and he has a fastball that easily exceeds 100 miles an hour regularly. At the dish, you have a lot of power and a lot of strikeouts. You also have average defense with 49 range and 44 error to go with a 96 arm in the outfield. Overall, Shohei Ohtani gives you an interesting profile, a player who can pitch, a player who can hit, but also a player who will struggle at both of those from time to time.
A good pickup here for the Squirrels. Showtime goes to the Super Squirrels here. 52nd overall pick. This will be a fun pick to see what they do with him. Is he going to be the starter, or are they going to try to make him play right field? The Admirals are on the clock next with their 3rd round selection, and with it, they will be picking up Tom Warner. Tom Warner is going to be a very good first baseman for the Angry Admirals here in the round 3, 53rd overall pick. His power and eye is very elite, allowing him to be able to get on base often, and if he's not getting on base with the walks, he's going to be getting on base with the home runs. His defense is going to be good enough at first base to hold his own, And his running game is going to keep him in a good pace with a lot of other players out there. His base running ability is going to also make him very wise on the base paths, allowing him to be able to make good decisions when going from first to third after getting those walks. Look to see if Tom Warner plays very well at first base for the Angry Admirals. It'll be interesting to see what that home run and eye discipline is going to do with his WAR numbers for the regular season. But Tom Warner, the number 7th user-submitted player, goes to the Angry Admirals here at pick number 53. Pick number 54 goes to the Apollos here in the 3rd round, and with it, they will be selecting Bruce Springsteen.
Hi, I'm DishNet34. The boss, Bruce Springsteen, found the Fountain of Youth to relive his glory days and is an interesting pitching option here in the BYP. His pitchers will be dancing in the dark with one of the best control ratings in the BYP at 97 overall, with decent movement of 55 overall as well. His best pitch is the circle change, which opposing hitters will likely be seeing in their dreams. His fastball is decent, but not quite born to run, topping out at 91 to 93. Overall, Bruce could be a sneaky back-of-the-rotation option, and could be tougher than the rest compared to other backstreet starters.
Oh my gosh. I'm not even going to comment. Just, no. 54th overall selection, Bruce Springsteen, goes to the adorable Apollos. They will be putting him into their rotation. Congratulations to them. Yeah, Dishnet, you're going to get me a DMCA at this point. Nah, I'm just kidding. You're good. The Kings get their 3rd round selection in as they are on the clock, and with their selection, they will be picking up J.R. Frankenstero.
J.R. Frankenstero hails from Boca Raton, Florida. One of the most powerful bats in the league. When he isn't striking out, he is hitting the ball very, very hard. Rarely into the gap, though. This man wants it all. Although he isn't slow, he doesn't care much for running. He prefers to take his time soaking in the crowd, slowly jogging around the bases after smashing one. The Reaper who hits over bleachers, J.R. Frankenstero.
Great pickup right here. 55th overall, going to the Knockout Kings, and that home run power will be knockout, and it will knock many balls out of the park. J.R. Frankenstero goes to the Reapers. Or not to the Reapers, to the Kings. He is a Reaper. I'm surprised he didn't go to the Reapers. His nickname literally is Reaper. We'll have to see if they can get something around for that. The Giants on the clock next. Their 3rd round selection is going to be Black Swordsman.
If you're looking for home run power, Black is a solid option. That said, that's all you're getting from him. His fielding profiles as a primary corner outfielder, and his running is about league average. Struggler is an apt nickname if he can't elevate the ball.
And only correction for that is infielder, corner infielder, I believe. But anywho, yes, Black Swordsman goes 56th overall to the Graceful Giants. They will be trying to put him at 1st or 3rd, most likely. But that power, again, some of these submitted players have some of the most power that I have seen out of some of these players. Like, they're topping even some of the pro players. So impressive to see what they'll be able to do. The Cluckers get the next 3rd round selection, and with it, they will be picking up Hideki Batsui.
Hideki Batsui hails from Bridgeport, Illinois. The man is a reckless batter, swinging at just about anything because so often he's driving into the gap for a double. He'd go for a triple, but he swings so ferociously that it takes him a few moments to recover and get to the task of base running. His real name is Plodzilla, but everyone yells, "Hit the deck!" when he lines it into the gap, so they call him Hideki. He can play the outfield, but his mind wanders, so best to stick him in left field. The Plodzilla Gorilla will be your left fielder, Hideki Batsui.
Good grief. Another submitted player gets drafted here, and the AI is going crazy with our submitted players officially, guys. We're going to see a whole lot more, trust me. They are going to come in bunches now. Batsui goes to the Crazy Cluckers for a corner outfield position. Congratulations to that player. The Nobles are up next with their 3rd round selection. And I'll let the booze rain in for a quick second while I get some water. You guys are like an on-cue situation for that. The Nobles pick up Boogers McGee.
Boogers can flick the horsehide with the best of them, sitting over 100 with his fastball and mixing in 2+ secondary pitches. Like Jordan Hicks if he was a starter. And he controls the running game better than most right-handers on the mound too. The one worry is gopher balls. If anyone makes good contact on that heater, it's gone.
Boogers. Goes 58th overall to the Nice Nobles, another perfect candidate for them to be able to draft at this point. Boogers McGee, a pretty impressive repertoire for amazing speed, a fly ball pitcher with low movement, but decent enough control to keep the walks off the base paths, and really good stuff. It'll be interesting to see how the Nobles handle Boogers McGee. The Frogs are up next in the third round here as we keep rolling forward. We've done a good job, so guys, done a good job so far, everybody. Thank you for being here and everything, and all the support and all the chats as well. The Frogs will be picking up Brian Reynolds.
Reynolds is a safe choice for your outfield. Decent is the word to sum up just about everything about him. Contact, power, running, fielding, and that last one is at least in left and possibly center. His switch hitting means he'll fare well no matter the opposition, but the ceiling's not that much higher than the floor here.
Brian Reynolds, a pretty average hitter, pretty average left fielder at this point. He'll actually do a pretty good job in left field at this point. They might play him in center if they don't get a better center fielder, but the Frogs have selected Brian Reynolds as their third round selection, 59th overall pick here. And we will finish the third round with the Coyotes getting selection number 60. And with it, the Coyotes will be selecting Wing Quan. Quan brings a very balanced approach with his profile. With his elite speed, he will be one of the best base stealers in the league, allowing him to be able to nab bases from pitchers that are not looking, as well as from catchers that have low arm. His ability to play multiple defensive positions will be an asset for any team that drafts him. His range and turn-double play ability will make him good on the corners as well as up the middle with infield and outfield positions. Probably not expect to see him behind the dish as a catcher at this point, but regardless of that, his also ability to be able to be a starting pitcher and do spot starts will be an asset to anybody who drafts him. Look to see what the Curious Coyotes do with this curious batting and pitching profile. A decent selection right here. This could be both directions if you want him to be doing some relief pitching or even starting, as well as doing some hitting, running, and defense. Wing Quan, a pretty good little pickup right here for the Curious Coyotes. And with the beginning of the fourth round, we have done a really good job, and we can finish strong right here, ladies and gentlemen. The Coyotes get the first pick in the fourth round, and with it, they will be picking up Courtney Squirrel Michelle. Courtney Squirrel Michelle will bring with her a starting pitcher that has high movement. The stuff isn't going to exactly be as good as you'd like to see, but that movement at 83 is going to be elite, allowing for an extreme ground ball pitcher like herself to be able to keep the ball on the ground and weakly hit. So as long as you've got good defense for Courtney, she should do a serviceable job as a starting pitcher for these Curious Coyotes. Drafted in the fourth round, 61st overall. Her fastball is the weakest of her three pitches, but that curveball and sinker combination is going to be good. Look to see just how good Courtney Michelle will be for these Coyotes. Surprised the Squirrels didn't pick her up earlier, but the Curious Coyotes will pick her up here in the fourth round as we begin the fourth round, 61st overall pick, Courtney Michelle. The Frogs, with their beginning of the second pick in the fourth round here, will be picking up Peter Slammer.
Slammer the Slugger slides to the top of draft boards for those playing in batters' parks. Squaring up the ball from both sides of the plate, Peter's prodigious power peaks in the postseason, where he pegged 9 home runs for the Pythons before moving to the Backyard League when his dad got a job in door-to-door vacuum sales. There is a little bit of swing and miss in his game, but the numerous number of nuclear knocks outweighs the negative Nellies who neglect to necessarily evaluate his talent. This freaky first flies fast and free around the base paths, even with average speed.
Good grief. Good grief. I'm so glad I got all of you to help me do these, because there was no way I was going to be able to say something like that. Congratulations with that report right about there. Peter Slammer goes to the Friendly Frogs. The Nobles are up next, and with their fourth round selection, the Nobles, as I wait for the boos to come raining down. There they go. The Nobles will be picking up with their final selection in today's coverage of the inaugural draft. They will be selecting Paul Goldschmidt, another fan favorite that's going to divide all of the fan bases.
Paul Goldschmidt, the longtime servant of both the Arizona Diamondbacks and St. Louis Cardinals, making his way over to the Backyard Baseball League this season. Very good bat against lefties. He's going to play a pretty reliable first base. He might strike out a little bit, but all in all, it's a very balanced bat. He's going to do everything he can at the plate to help you, and he's a good number 3 and number 5 hitter for most teams.
Paul Goldschmidt goes to the nice Nobles here in the 4th round, 63rd overall pick. Let's keep going. The Nobles, all hitters, I believe. I don't think they picked up one pitcher this entire draft so far. The Cluckers are up next, and with their 4th round selection, the Cluckers will be picking up Gabagool. I'm literally just going to call him Gabagool because our announcer will be calling him something else.
Corner to corner, there is no place in the ballpark that Shapoopy can't barrel the ball to. His line drive batting profile and strong contact tool means doubles and triples aplenty, with the occasional home run. He'll frustrate you for not being able to draw a walk, though, and he's not the most fleet on the base paths. As a first baseman, though, he's exactly who you're looking for.
And you are correct. The Nobles did pick up Boogers McGee. I forgot about that. Thank you for that correction. But Shapoopy here goes in the 4th round to the Crazy Cluckers. A great selection, to be honest. The contact and the gap power, with a little bit of power, a little bit of void Ks. Great first base option right about here. Cluckers should enjoy this pickup immensely. The Giants are up next, and their 4th round selection is going to be Ketel Marte.
Ketel Marte. Marte is one of those players you love to have on the team because of his versatility. Defensively, he can play all up the middle, with second base, shortstop, and center field all being options. And while he's not exceptional at any of them, he's definitely more than serviceable, with 62 infield range, 63 infield error, 70 outfield range, and 62 outfield error. At the plate, he does provide you a good contact, gap, and avoid K's profile with 71, 78, and 67 respectively. He does have a little bit wilder profile against lefties, where he sees a drop in contact, but an increase in gap power, and a more average profile against righties. All in all, Marte is going to find a very good home and be a very productive player in the league.
Ketel Marte goes to the Graceful Giants here in the 4th round, 65th overall pick. The Kings, with the 66th overall pick, will be selecting Nick Castellanos.
I'll spare you the 4-0 ball game jokes here. Castellanos will fare best as a DH, filling in at the corners only in a pinch. He's got some interesting splits, including more gap power against righties versus more contact and home run juice against lefties. He does find it hard to lay off tantalizing pitches, though, and make sure he bunts every now and again to stop the heavy shifting against him.
Nick will be heading over to the Knockout Kings. More power to the Kings at this point. Those 77 years of major service, though, I don't know. That's going to be interesting. He's getting up there in the age. Oh, no, wait, it's only 29. With the 4th selection for the Apollos, 67th overall, the Apollos will be selecting Debbie Nagasawa.
Hi, I'm Dishnet34. Debbie Nagasawa is an interesting character here in the BYP. She has good, but not great batting ratings, her best attribute being her 70 contact, as well as good, but not great ratings defensively. She might be better suited for left field or first base as a bench option, but a talent-strapped roster could give her a serviceable starting role.
The adorable Apollos pick up another diversity player here with the multiple positions of defense to be able to play first, a little bit of second and third, but then left and right. So Debbie Nagasawa goes to the adorable Apollos here in the 4th round. With the 68th overall pick, the Admirals will be selecting Elwood Hayes.
Elwood Hayes has a fairly decent bat for an outfielder in this draft pool. While he might strike out often with his 47 avoid Ks, if he makes contact, it could go for extra bases or over the fence. He's unique in that he can really only play the outfield. However, his range limitations really only make him viable in left field. Overall, a decent option, but maybe not the best one out there.
I got you guys. I did fix one of them. Back-to-back when it came to back-to-back. I didn't want there to be both back-to-back. Hi, I'm Dishing at 34. So I did fix one of them. So I got you guys. Anywho, Hayes goes to the... Oh gosh, now I forgot what it was. Hayes goes to the Admirals here in the 68th overall pick. Squirrels. And the nice pick for the day. The Squirrels will be picking up Frankie Holly.
Frankly, Holy Day has one of the strongest arms in the neighborhood, which he normally uses to throw touchdowns in football. While he's a top QB nearly every year over there, his accuracy on the mound leaves something to be desired, and with limited movement he has not seen much action on the mound in recent years. Instead, he's been tried behind the plate and in right field, two places where his arm plays best. He's not completely immobile in the field, but doesn't get around well and has very little finesse at third. At the plate, he hits the ball with decent power and makes his fair share of contact, but is prone to strikeouts. Look for him to hold down a corner spot somewhere, or a daring team could try him in the bullpen, where his flamethrower will play up over trying to extend his arm over an entire game.
It will be interesting to see what the Super Squirrels do with this pickup right here. This is the second person they've gotten alongside of Shohei Ohtani, who's going to be kind of a two-way player, and they can do whatever they would like to do with both of them, as both could be starters, both could be hitters. So we'll see what the Squirrels want to do with both of those selections. With the 70th overall pick, we have 10 more selections after this one right here. The Reapers will be picking up Tim Anderson, TA7.
If you look up modern shortstops in the dictionary, you will find Tim Anderson's picture in front of it. Because this man can hit, he can field, he can run. He's got it all, man. Plays a good defensive shortstop, good range. Could play a little outfield for you in a pinch as well. And that bat is nothing to look down on. Great contact hitter. He's got a little bit of pop. And he's also going to cause a whole bunch of chaos on the base paths. So if he gets on, watch out.
Nice. Tim Anderson goes 70th overall to the Rebellious Reapers here in the 4th round. A good pickup right here. Good, decent defense, good offense, good running. That'll be interesting to see what the Reapers want to do with him, if they have to move him around. Or, I mean, he'll have to stay at shortstop because that's all he can play. So it'll be interesting to see what the Reapers do with the rest of their drafts for the remainder of these inaugural draft rounds 5 through 15. The Cacti up next here in the 4th round, and with it, they will be selecting George Herman.
George Herman hails from Westlake, Ohio. This left fielder, known simply as the House, is known for 3 things: hitting dingers, ringers, and stingers. That isn't true. He is also known for striking out most of the time. A snapshot of his swing reveals the issue. His eyes are closed mid-swing. He doesn't swing at everything, but when he does swing, it is a wonder he ever connects. But when he connects, the House goes all the way home. George Herman.
And I believe this was before we changed his city of birth. I think that has been changed since then. But either way, the House will hit home runs. That will be all that he does. A good pickup right here for the Clobbering Cacti. Goes right along with their name. They will be clobbering with George here at this point. 71st overall pick. Let's move on to the 72nd. The Koalas. With their 72nd overall pick selection here in the 4th round, we'll be picking up Tom Brenneman.
Hi, I'm DishNet34. Tom Brenneman might be a man of faith, but there might not be too many drives to deep left field in his future, although he might see some defensively at the same position. Brenneman comes in with surprisingly good contact at 81 and a good avoid Ks at 73, but his defense could potentially hold him back from being a good all-around outfielder. Overall, he's not bad, and could be a borderline starter.
Tom Brenneman, man of faith, goes to the kind Koalas. That seems kind of appropriate for some reason. The contact and avoid Ks, very, very good. We'll see how he fares in left. I wonder if Nick Castellanos will hit a homer to left over Tom. Okay, never mind. I'm going to keep moving forward. Anywho, 4th round. Pioneers get their 72nd, I believe, pick at this point. And with it, they will be picking up, no, my apologies, 73rd, Bare Necessities. You don't have to look far for the Bare Necessities right here, folks. Bear is a great player, being able to play almost any of the infield positions, maximizing her ability to play first base, second base, and having little sprinks, we'll call it, of shortstop and third base in there. In fact, that shortstop ability would be quite respectable in most regards, so look to see where the Pleasant Pioneers are going to play Bear at this point. The contact and gap power is going to be very pivotal, as the running speed and stealing bases ability is going to allow her to take a couple extra bags here and there, not to mention the base running will do the same thing. Bare Necessities will be an interesting player for these Pleasant Pioneers. Look to see how good this switch-hitting shortstop will do in the regular season. Bare Necessities goes 73rd overall to the Pleasant Pioneers. We'll see where they'll play her in the regular season. The Whistlers are up next as we get close to the end of the 4th round and the end of the stream. Ladies and gentlemen, the Whistlers, with their 4th round pickup, will be selecting Chris Flexen.
Chris Flexen. While Flexen's not going to blow you away on the man with his 47 stuff, he does still sit in the 93 to 95 mile an hour range, featuring a fastball, slider, curveball, changeup combination. Where Flexen's boom or bust is going to be with his ability to limit home runs and his ability to limit walks. With 52 movement and 63 control, both of those can be questionable. While he does have a 50, 54, 65 stuff movement control rating against righties, Flexen's going to be an interesting back of the rotation option for a lot of teams, and only time will tell what his season will provide.
Chris Flexen goes to the Witty Whistlers here at 74th overall. We have 6 picks left, ladies and gentlemen, 6 picks left, as the Whistlers get another starter to add to their starting rotation. The Armadillos are on next, and with their 75th, I believe, overall pick, they will be picking up Ray Skydoniez.
No one is a better infielder than no one. A glove-first infielder who has plenty of range and finesse to make all the plays necessary, and some plays that make you wonder how old he really is. There's no way a 12-year-old should be able to pull off a Jeter against Pete Wheeler, and yet he's done it 7 times. He doesn't bring a lot at the plate, but does have enough on-base skills to be a useful stick, and pairs that with average speed and base running skills.
Ray Skydoniez goes to the astounding Armadillos, one of our better fielding shortstops and fielding infielders at this point. So we'll see what they decided to do with him position-wise. He'd be an excellent, excellent shortstop candidate. With the 76th overall pick, the Ducks will be selecting USS Yorktown.
The USS Yorktown is one of 24 Exus-class aircraft carriers built during World War II for the U.S. Navy. Wait, I got the wrong USS Yorktown. Hailing from Pecan Acres, Texas, this is my kind of catcher. Solid defense, solid arm, and good catcherability combined with the ability to hit home runs. The batting glove they call Carrier can even run pretty well for always being in the crouch position. A dedicated catcher, he has honed his specialization well, and while you would trade some speed for more bat, he's pretty amazing in this league. Carrier's the barrier behind the plate, USS Yorktown.
I have no comment. No comment. 76th overall, USS Yorktown goes to the dominating Ducks. The Goats, with the 77th overall pick, will be selecting Whitney Singh.
Whitney Singh hails from Oak Creek, Wisconsin. This unorthodox two-way player can technically pitch, but you don't really want her to. At best, she should be the emergency replacement for the emergency replacement. She is the end of the line. However, she is an absolutely phenomenal position player at either first base or left field. Her talent is speed and reaction. She has tremendous range both in the infield and outfield and can run like the wind. Player at first, left, or off the bench as a pinch runner or defensive sub. Not meek with range for weeks from Oak Creek, Whitney Singh.
77th overall pick goes to the Goats, a good defensive player with a little bit of pitching ability as well as some great speed. So Whitney Singh will be an excellent outfield candidate with a potential to be able to come in and pitch occasionally. With the 78th overall pick, the Captains are going to be selecting Bob Thunder.
You know, for a guy nicknamed Boom, I was expecting more power. What Bob is, though, is a frustrating player to pitch to. Fantastic eye, great contact, and notoriously difficult to strike out. His base running could stand to be a bit better, but it's above average. He'll find a home in left field just fine. I can even manage at the other outfield positions in a pinch too.
I have to agree with Sergeant Mushroom on this one. I think this is a steal. That I and Avoid K is lethal, and the defense is nothing to scoff at. Bob Thunder, great pickup right here for the Courageous Captains at 78th overall. 79th goes to the Ninjas, our penultimate selection for the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 picks left. And with the 79th overall pick, the Ninjas will be selecting Christopher Christofferson.
Big Oak uses his maple to send opposing pitchers to grab some pine. The definition of a 3 true outcomes player, this switch hitter smacks balls so far it seems like a figment of the imagination. A native of Aspen, this first baseman turns opposing pitchers' dreams to ash every time he steps into the box. While he is somewhat strikeout prone, his prodigious power will enthrall all who face him.
Another great report right there from my Rocktis. Thank you so much for that. There's so many references you could have used. Yep, and I loved every single one of our reports so far, and I will love all of them till the day I die. That seems kind of sappy, but okay, sure. Anywho, Christopher Christofferson goes to the Nimble Ninjas in the 79th overall pick at this point. Great power, great eye, will probably be playing first or second over the course of the regular season. Maybe they'll slot him in at third. I don't know. And last but not least, for the end of the 4th round, the Jolly Jazz with the 80th overall pick. Thank you everyone for being here, for watching all of these. Let's see if you guys can get lucky with your last selection. If you haven't been drafted, we will be doing more of these draft rounds on my personal channel over the course of the next 2 days. So if you want to see your player get drafted, we will be covering all of those over the course of the next 2 days. So don't worry if you didn't get selected today. You will be drafted. But with the last selection, the Jolly Jazz are going to be picking up C.J. Cron.
If Matt Olson was the prototypical first baseman, then C.J. Cron is prototype light. Because he brings the rain with his power bat, but doesn't really do anything else all that great. A decent eye, decent gap power, but he's not going to be hitting for average, and nor is he going to be avoiding strikeouts like the plague. And he's also a little bit unreliable at defensive first base. Prone to making some errors, and he's not going to light the base paths alight with his 6'4", 235-pound frame. But if you need a middle-of-the-lineup bopper, Cron is right there.
And that is our first 4 rounds of the inaugural draft for the Backyard Project. Thank you guys so much for being here. We will be doing more rounds on my personal channel. That's the one in the top middle, AZ Axel. And we'll be covering rounds 5 through 15. We will be doing the rest of the draft tomorrow, Sunday, and potentially on Monday as well. I'll get you guys times in our Discord so you guys are aware of what that's going to be looking like. Thank you again so much to all of these voice talents for saving my voice over the course of this stream. Every single one of these people was able to pitch in and help us get a whole bunch of scouting reports for all these amazing players. Thank you so much for pitching in and doing that, guys. I appreciate that so much. We'll be trying to get more of the Backyard Project on this channel. Every single Saturday, you guys will be able to watch a whole bunch of more of this kind of content. But as for the inaugural draft, ladies and gentlemen, that is the first 4 rounds, and we are done for the day. If you would like to join our Discord, Discnet, just put in the link right there. You guys can join that and be able to chat with all the players who have been drafted so far, all the teams that are getting solidified with their players, and you guys can talk about all kinds of stuff. I know some people are already making articles about stuff as well. We're going to have a whole lot more discourse about the Backyard Project, this inaugural draft, and the teams that are going to be created through this 15-round inaugural draft down the road. So for everybody here at OOTP, for the Backyard Project, and the people that make this work, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. This has been rounds 1 through 4 of the inaugural draft for the Backyard Project Season 1. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.